The one thing they said to be super true is this is going to be very raw. It is never my intention to offend anybody or to touch on topics that bring up bad things for them, but God always leads me to tell this differently. Of the probably 50 times now that I've given this, I couldn't help getting emotional. I'm not an emotional person, those that know me. I'm very good at masking. I'm very good at I'm fine, like the other shirt, I'm fine. This is home. August will be 10 years that I've been coming to this church.
Oh,
And September was 10 years that I was at the celebrating company. For a little about a year and a half, I've had to step away from here, but I still teach some recovery in the jail. So to be back home is very just awesome. People that I see throughout the crowd that have been so instrumental in me getting where I am today has just been, it's just awesome. I love you guys so much. So my name is Shauna. I am a grateful believer in Jesus Christ who has been set free from abuse, addiction, abandonment, shame, and so many lies that I believed about myself for so much of my life. I still struggle with cussing, control, and occasionally trying to do God's job for him. Thank you for letting me share my story with you. A lot of people are shocked to find out who I've been and where I came from. When you see me today, what you see today is the mostly healed and God-filled version of me. You see a woman with a career that she is passionate about, the mom of 5 children plus a bonus daughter, the grandma, mama to 9 grandchildren, number 9 in front here. I have horses, a pig, and a life that appears pretty well put together. The inmates I work with they often assume that I'm just another jail staff that doesn't understand anything about where they came from. But then they hear my story, and they know that the biggest difference between us isn't that I was better than them. It was that I never got caught, despite doing plenty of things that could have landed me in jail. The closest I ever came was the visitation window or the other end of the phone. Long before I ever walked into the jail to help people find recovery, I realized that I needed recovery myself. I know the devil considered me a threat because he worked hard to destroy me from my very first breath. As I grew up, there were plenty of reasons to believe the lies he whispered into my life. I wasn't wanted. I wasn't valuable. I wasn't enough. That nobody was coming to save me. How big I printed this, it's still not big enough. It's in the dark up here, and I didn't bring reading glasses. So bear with me, because I do not like to read this, but and anyone who knows me knows I'm a talker, so I read the print real fast. Although my mom and grandma really did try their best to give me a good life, life had other plans. My father abandoned me before I was even born. I was an awkward child who talked too much, who knew, with Coke bottle glasses and secondhand clothes. So I was bullied by literally everybody, kids, adults, it didn't matter. When I finally got the stepfather I had prayed for, he was a raging alcoholic who was quite skilled in physical and psychological abuse. I quickly decided that if that was what having a father was like, I didn't want one anymore. But it was too late. I just wanted to be loved. I wanted to be wanted. I wanted people to like me. I wanted to have friends. But none of that ever worked out like I pictured it in my head. Which reinforced to me that my sheer existence was an epic disappointment to everyone around me. Throughout my childhood, I was molested several times. No one ever was held accountable, even the times I did have the courage to speak out about it. As I entered my teen years, my grandma got custody of me, which my mom signed over without a fight. But, that was just one more person leaving me, right? One more person throwing me away was how it felt. It wasn't until I was an adult and brought it up that she told me it killed her to do that, but she thought it was what I wanted. Another recurring theme in my life, people making decisions about me and my life without consulting me or asking how I felt about it. My grandma tried to get me help, took me to a therapist that I absolutely refused to open up to. That poor man spent so many sessions with me and got paid to watch me not say a word for an hour every week. I was so broken inside, I woke up every day angry with God that I was still alive. I cursed him for hating me so much that he allowed all of this to happen to me. While we never attended church regularly in my family, there was always Bibles around the house, and I somehow always knew that he was my father. But given how my earthly fathers had failed me, I had nothing but resentment towards God. I became so depressed that all I could think about was ending my life. But I also felt I couldn't even do that right. I began self-harming because the pain of doing that seemed to, at least temporarily, ease the pain that I was suffering in my soul. I had multiple trips to inpatient, but they never helped. It was just a different place to feel the same way. Shouldn't come as a surprise that having daddy issues, that directly led me to seeking attention from guys in all the wrong ways. I had come to believe that my value was tied to what I could give people. If someone wanted me, even for the wrong reasons, at least I was still wanted, right? A few weeks before my 14th birthday, I found out I was pregnant with my oldest daughter. Yes, I said 14. Because I refused his request to have an abortion, he broke up with me on my birthday before school. I tried to be a good mom, but I was still just a child. My grandma took guardianship over. The church we had been attending pushed us out because they weren't comfortable with what they called my situation. That further fueled my depression and feelings that I was better off dead. I told God that if that was how his people were going to treat me, I was done with them and him forever. Absolutely done. My life spiraled even more out of control for the next 15 years. I was in several toxic relationships, struggled to support myself, to survive each day. I worked in strip clubs and a massage parlor because I thought it was easy money, and I really didn't even care that I was selling my soul along with my body. I dabbled in paganism, Wicca, and even Satanism because I felt like, hey, I was already living in hell, so what did I have to lose? My addiction to meth was only 9 months of my life. And people in jail laugh because I say it was only 9 months. But it got really deep, really fast. After I had fought to get all my children back with me, they ended up getting sent to live with different family members. I knew they deserved better than what I gave them, and it was just another mark in a long list of failures. My 20s were some of the darkest and chaotic days of my life. I had given up on dying because it was obvious I was meant to suffer my whole life. Oddly enough, despite my feelings towards God, I loved crosses. I've always loved the cross. To me, it represented sacrifice. In my mind, I had not abandoned my children. I had sacrificed being their mother because it was giving them an opportunity to be safe, healthy, and happy. Others gave them what I couldn't. It wasn't that I wouldn't, it was that I couldn't. I felt that in every situation of my life, I sacrificed what I wanted to please someone else. In my 30s, I tried to finally grow up and calm down. I got the kids back again and was working on going to college while working full-time and caring for my mom. Then I was diagnosed with fibromyalgia, which is like unexplained, widespread pain in the body. It basically feels like you have the flu and you got hit by a train and everything hurts and for no reason and nothing helps it. But through that diagnosis, the pain brought me literally to my knees. I will never forget the moment when I declared, okay, God, you win. I know that you know that I know you are real, and I cannot do this without you. Not long after that, I was told that I had thyroid cancer. Removing my thyroid put me on disability for 4 years. I couldn't get out of bed. I could barely hold up a gallon of milk. And I was told that I would need a cane by the time I was 40. But Jeremiah 29:11 says, For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans to prosper you and not to harm you. Plans to give you hope and a future. And I was frustrated because I still did not understand God's plan. This did not make logical sense by any way, shape, or form. How is it that I'm trying to live right now and everything is still wrong? I'm still getting punished. One thing that I had learned up at this point in my life, though, was that if you tell me I can't do something, you can bet I'm going to do it. That is the best way to get me to do anything, is tell me I can't. I believe Pastor has stood on stage and used the words fierce and relentless to describe me before. I take this compliments. I did everything I could to regain my strength, starting slowly, got back to work, and to try to live a productive life. Because at 32 years old, being told this is your life, get used to it, and having 5 kids at home, it just wasn't an option for me. It wasn't fair to them. So through a series of events, God led me here to Home Church. It was perfect timing, as my oldest son and bonus daughter had fallen headfirst deep into their own addiction. Eventually, 4 of my 6 children would battle that demon, and as I stand here today, one of them is still trapped. Being an addict myself, having spouses as addicts, friends as addicts, that's its own nightmare. Being the mother of an addict is a whole different level of hell. Lie awake wondering if they are alive. My youngest has overdosed to death 3 times that I know of. You answer middle of the night calls with your heart in your throat. You replay every parenting decision you've ever made, especially when you feel you failed as a parent. You carry guilt that doesn't belong to you. You try to save someone who doesn't want to be saved. And eventually, you realize you are powerless. Lesson number 2, to fix them. That pain is what brought me to Celebrate Recovery. I was invited by Jamie Smith after a divine meeting at Fall Fest, and that's our friend anniversary every year that we do celebrate. By this time, I thought I was blind. I had dealt with my childhood hurts and traumas, and I was just here to help my kids, But God showed me that I still had so much work to do in my life. Now, I had zero, and I mean zero, interest in leadership at this thing. I wanted to come, I wanted to do my stuff, I wanted to leave. But so I was asked several times, since at the time I was 13 years sober off of meth. So it was, hey, you got the time, you should be serving. And I'm like, no, I can't even keep my own head above water right now. So certainly did not feel it was my place to help someone else. Again, good at masking. I was just trying to survive, as the depression was still a daily battle. In fact, I remember Googling often, how do I know if I'm happy? How do people become happy? What are signs of a happy person? Because I didn't know. I attribute part of that to the depression and part of that to the meth use, because it does affect your brain and your dopamine receptors. But that's how disconnected I was. People know when they're happy. Well, most people know when they're happy. I honestly didn't. I had survived for so long that survival had become my actual personality. I knew how to fight, how to endure, how to keep going, but I had no idea how to live. And normal is just a setting on the dryer, but I definitely had no idea how to be normal. Then I started my first step study. For the first time in my life, I stopped focusing on what everyone else had done to me, and I started letting God show me what I needed healed inside of me. Oh, it was painful. It was so uncomfortable, but it changed my life. Joel 2:25 promises us, I will restore to you the years that the locusts have eaten. I just had to get out of the way. The steps taught me that I could not heal what I refused to acknowledge. I think Dr. Phil fans in here. I couldn't blame every person who hurt me while ignoring the ways I hurt myself. I couldn't keep dragging childhood wounds into adult relationships and expect different results. God showed me that healing required honesty, and that honesty changed everything. Also, God showed me I had spent my entire life trying to earn love. I believed if I could just be good enough, useful enough, pretty enough, successful enough, or needed enough, then people would love me enough to stay. It took me decades to realize that people leaving never determined my value. My value had already been settled at the cross. I had been looking for belonging in all the wrong places. Through men, relationships, approval, literally in all the wrong places. What I was really looking for was the identity and acceptance that only God could give me. And the more I trusted Him, the more He showed me who I really was, who He created me to be. Now, I eventually caved and became just smarter. Nothing else, right? Well, then that led to being a women's ministry leader, which then led to me teaching Celebrate Recovery and the Women at Work Release on Saturdays. And you give up every Saturday for a year to go sit in work release, I'm not bragging, but that's dedication. I missed 2 weeks out of a whole year. Like, I did not play with that. I was serious about it. Well, then, if you've not heard of JCAP, I think we talk about it at church quite a bit. Thank you, Pastor. We have the jail chemical addiction program at the jail, and I started off teaching Life Skills 101 for the first 2 classes, and then when Casey took over, she needed somebody to teach Celebrate Recovery. Well, it made sense that I would do that. So I started there. The current class that we have right now is my 10th class that I've been able. So I go through, whereas we go through here, the 25 lessons in 52 weeks, we do it in 16 weeks. So it's, along with all the other classes, it is very, very intensive. It's a lot. And then when Rex Laughlin stepped down as the ministry leader, I took over for a year before forcing it on Matt, which I think he may have finally forgiven me. I'm not sure yet. I mean, he's had it a year and a half now, so I mean, he still talks to me. I mean, I don't make him work on my car anymore, so I think that's more of a him thing than a me thing. But no, I knew he would be great at it, so I had no worries handing it over to him. The things I thought disqualified me became the things God used most. Recovery wasn't just something I went through. Reaching back for those who felt hopeless and helpless, those people I recognized my former self in, became my passion. As a huge supporter of JCAP, I frequently said, this is awesome, but this is 2 to 3% of the jail. What about everybody else in this jail? What I didn't know yet was that our sheriff, that was his first year, his first term, had a vision to create the Kosciuszko Community Recovery Program that would be tasked with helping inmates heal from their hurts and addictions, as well as guide them through the release with resources and support to help them be successful. And in the meantime, I will say that I was at this time in my life where, going in, mid-40s, and I was like, God, what do you want me to do? What do you want me to do? Does anybody do that? You just wait for the answer? Well, he kept saying recovery, and I'm like, I do that. I do Celebrate Recovery, I do recovery here, I do recovery there. He just, that was the only answer I kept getting, recovery. I'm like, okay, I guess you're just not gonna tell me. Well, when the position was posted for the Kosciuszko Community Recovery Program, my phone blew up. Like 5 seconds after it went live on the website, my phone started going off, and it went off for like 4 days straight. Calls, texts, messages, people telling me I needed to apply for this job. And I'm like, no, come on. Like, there's going to be, like, I got an associate's degree. It only required a high school diploma, but it was just all the fear, all the, I'm not good enough, I'm not this, I'm not enough that. Like, I'm not the look for. I don't want to have to dress up. I want to wear my jeans and cowboy. I interviewed in a nice shirt, not this shirt, a nice shirt, blue jeans and cowboy boots, and they still hired me. And then I dressed up for a while, and now that I'm on my almost into 2 years, I'm back to wearing blue jeans and cowboy boots unless I have a meeting with somebody. But they haven't said nothing yet, so don't tell them. Nobody called the sheriff and be like, hey, why did you want to wear jeans? But when out of 30 applicants, 30 people applied for that position, and I was the one that they chose. And it is such a blessing to me. And I still, even 2 years in, I am so humbled and so honored that I get to be the one to literally build this program from the ground up. The sheriff had said, I have a 1,000-foot view of what this will be, and you're going to go in here and you're going to tell me what it needs to be. And their original plan is not what we're doing today, I will tell you that. They wanted to focus solely on people 60 to 90 days from release, which we do, that is part of it. But I can't, in good faith, if I see someone that my discernment tells me is truly ready, they're sick and tired of being sick and tired, they really want recovery, I cannot deny them services as long as their behavior is good. I'm kind of like the jail mom. I will go back and bust heads and be like, hey, I heard you did some stuff this weekend and I'm not happy. And they're like, oh, we work through it. Everything's a learning experience, right? But yeah, so next month is 2 years that I've been in this role, and I have never had a job or anything I've done in my life that has been so fulfilling, that I have loved so much, that I felt so, this is where I was supposed to be. Everything's been a struggle up until that. So I'm telling you, God does not waste anything. Looking back now, I can see what God was doing. The abandoned little girl, the addict, the teen mom, the woman who wanted to die, none of it was wasted. God had been preparing me my entire life for the thing He created me to be and what I do today. And not only do I get to help these people, I get to share about God and how He helped me through my hurts and addiction, how He helped me restore relationships with my kids, see the value that He saw in me, and to love others as Christ does. God has shown me repeatedly that His word does not return void, and He has proven, Acts 2:17, I will pour out my Spirit on all flesh. And that means the hurt, the lost, the addict, the abused, the abandoned, the teen mom, the inmate, all people. Today I wake up grateful instead of angry. When I go to bed, every night I lay there and I say, thank you, God, for another day. I no longer ask God why He let me live. And I thank Him that I get to praise and worship Him throughout every day. I have absolutely no fear about where I will go when I take my last breath. But I'm also in no hurry to get there either, because I finally see the beauty in living. I spent my entire life trying to be good enough for people to stay. And looking back, I can see why I kept choosing the wrong people. Chaos felt like home. Healthy felt terrifying. Being ignored and abandoned felt normal. Fighting for scraps of love felt consistent with everything I'd ever known. I wasn't choosing what was healthy. I was chasing what was familiar. My father left. My mother let me go. Relationships failed. People disappointed me. But God stayed. through every chapter and every season of my life. God stayed. And because he stayed, I finally learned something I had spent my entire life trying to figure out. I was wanted. I was chosen. I was loved. I was valued. Not because of who stayed or who left, but because I belong to Jesus Christ, and that has made all the difference. Thank you very much for letting me share that. And that was like this much of it, y'all. I can only take so much in 30 minutes. Okay, we're gonna end it with the serenity prayer, and then, do we have any announcements now?
Sign up for STEP studies. We're a month out. It is live to sign up for.
We're gonna end it with the serenity prayer.
One day at a time, setting hardship as a pathway to peace. Taking Jesus, as I would have it. Trusting in you in all things right, I surrender. So that I can be reasonably happy, supremely happy.
Okay, take like 5 minutes. Women will come back in here, and then go down the hall and to the right.
Little precious. He's so sticking adorable. Baby. Charlie. Aww. There's a building. There's a building.
With all the new chairs.
We may. I don't know how many are gonna stay, but there's a lot of ladies. Yeah.
Otherwise, we'll just hold on.
Oh, it's still.
So, yeah.
Just X.
Yeah, you said that.